Testing, 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 testing. All right, I think we good. One second. One second. One second. One second. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Keys back with another weekly analysis stock/futures live stream/video. Today is Sunday, July 19th, 2026. We're going to be checking out the week of July 20th through the 24th. Okay. First thing first, y'all know, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure y'all turn the notification bell on so you will be notified whenever I drop videos, whenever I go live, whenever I make a community post. You will be notified and will be aware of it. Of course, thank y'all for tuning in. And yeah, we're finna get into it, man. We're finna jump into these charts and into these economic calendars and everything. But before we do, I do want to give a quick update for this week. If y'all was at the last weekly announcement that we had on last Sunday, I stated that I will be live streaming a little bit more often on the YouTube channel. We did do a live stream last week. I think we did it on Monday. We did do a live stream last week, but probably try to get it 2 or 3 times out the week this week going live. Might try to look forward to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday probably. But we'll see. Like I said, turn the notification bell on and you'll be notified when I do go live. Other than that, let's jump into it, man. First thing first, if you're new to the channel, we go over our economic calendar first. We get our economic calendar, economic news from investing.com. I put it on United States news only and 3-star news only. So if you ever wondering, hey, why is the economic calendar shorter than most? It's because of that. I put it on 3-star news only and United States news only because we only really looking towards that high impactful news. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. First thing first, our economic calendar for this week. As you can see, we don't have nothing for it. Monday, July 20th or Tuesday, July 21st. As of right now, as of today, as Sunday, July 19th, 2026, there is no high impactful news scheduled. Now, it could change in the morning, so you always have to look at your economic calendar in case of any updates or anything. Okay? But as of now, we don't have any high impactful news on them days. So first thing first, Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026, we have 9:30 crude oil inventories at 9:30 a.m. If crude oil for me personally, not really too impactful for me when it comes to if I'm getting into trades or not going to take a trade at that time when that news event come out, just because crude oil typically only affects crude oil itself. Doesn't really spill into MNQ or ES or any of the stocks that we look at. Usually crude oil has its impact on crude oil itself. Here and there, every blue moon, you will see that it will affect the overall market, but usually it's just oil that it affects. So that 9:30 news that we see on Wednesday, I'm not really too terrified of it. And we will be trading through it. It is aftermarket open, but hey, we will trade into it. Then we go into Thursday, July 23rd, 7:30 a.m. We got initial jobless claims. Now that is a high impactful news event that will make the market either spike or drop. But fortunately, we see that it is at 7:30 a.m. So that's before we will take a trade. We usually typically try to take our trades after the bell, after 8:30 a.m. So the news will be out before we get on the charts. Now we will have to wait maybe 5 to 10 minutes after to see how it affects the market when the bell opens. But other than that, we should have a smooth regular Thursday for July 23rd. Then we're going into Friday, July 24th. 8:45, we got PMI. And at 9 a.m. we have new home sales. Now, PMI definitely a nice heavy hitter, definitely a market mover. Also, if you time the fact that it's a Friday, also definitely can see PMI at that 8:45 mark move the market and bring some volatility. And then right after that, 15 minutes later, we got new home sales, another nice potential factor in market volatility. Now, both of those, as we can see, they both after 8:30, so they're both after the bell. This is when we're trying to take trades, so we may have to pause or hesitate if we don't see any clear directional trades when it's getting closer to them times for the news events. May have to wait until the news events come out, and maybe 5 to 10 minutes later, after the events come out, and once the market settles with the news events, we take our trades. We'll have to see, but we definitely be looking out for that and watching out for that. All in all, really this week so far on this economic calendar don't look too crazy. Really like it start picking up after Thursday or after Wednesday coming into Thursday. So not really too worried with the economic calendar as of right now. Like I said, this can update throughout the week, so we always got to stay on our toes and be checking our calendar periodically. All right. So there's the economic calendar. Next, we go into our earnings reports for this week. For our earnings report on this channel, we use the Instagram page. I think it's ESP Whispers. Yep, EPS Whispers. My bad. EPS Whispers. We go to his page, we check out his chart, and we just take a screenshot of it. And pretty much, it lays out what earnings to expect this week. All right, going into this week, Monday to start the week off. Oh, before I jump into that, my bad. I'm sorry. Disclaimer: if you're new to the channel, you typically only go over the earnings that I recognize, the companies and stocks that I recognize I may be traded before, or just a familiar name. If it's ever a company that that's name may be listed on the earnings and I don't go over it, don't feel upset. Just comment down below and say, hey Keith, you might want to check out this stock or this company because their earnings might be good to check out, or they're just a good stock overall to check out. I don't know all stocks. I don't know every single company how their charts look and stuff. So feel free to comment down below and be like, hey, I think you overlooked this one. This one you sleeping on. And I won't feel no type of way. I will just try to check it out and might be something I start adding to the list. Now, going into this earnings for this week. First thing first, before the open, I see we have AMC. AMC on Monday. Before the open, definitely might be checking out the charts. Then we got Domino's Pizza before the open. Only thing with a Monday before the open trade, chart. Typically Mondays I don't like buying options, and then the earnings are already finna get played out. So it's like, we can trade after the earnings came out if it gapped up or gapped down. But typically Mondays I normally don't even take heavy trades, I'll say. But AMC and Domino's might be just enough. Contracts may not be too expensive to where we can still trade it. All right, after the close, we got Crown. Crown there after the close. Do I see anything else? Not really, nothing that's too standing out for me. So really, before the open, AMC and Domino's, and then after the close, Crown. Then we go into Tuesday. Tuesday before the open. I see 3M, 3M, GM, MSCI. I'm not too familiar with them, but usually them SCIs, usually like artificial intelligence type companies. So maybe they'll be something you can check out. I see Charles Schwab. Got Charles Schwab right here above GM. Alley, if you big on like banks and stuff, but for me personally, I don't really look for Alley. I'll say 3M before the open, and maybe that MSCI is the main two, and then Charles Schwab. After the close, we got Alaska Airlines. Like I said, another bank, East West Bank. Other than that, that's it. I like the before the open for Tuesday. Before the open for Tuesday, might got some sleepers in here. Maybe some that we gotta watch out for. Then going into Wednesday, before the open, we got AT&T. I see it say GE Vernova. Not too familiar what that is. I know what GE is, but I know Vernova. Maybe that's certain location. Really just AT&T the main one I see before the open for Wednesday. Now after the close, of course, we see this logo here. We got Tesla after the close on Wednesday. We also have Google after the close on Wednesday. ServiceNow after the close on Wednesday. IBM, I love. I just say I like. I ain't gonna say I love. I like looking at IBM charts when earnings come around. IBM. Um, is Texas Instruments? Is that like with the schools and stuff? Cause I feel like I've seen that logo before. I feel like I've seen that logo before. CSX. I heard of them, but I never checked their chart out. Really, the biggest ones though is that Tesla, Google, ServiceNow, IBM. Those are the main ones I'll be checking for on Wednesday after the close. Then we go into Thursday before the open. We got Nokia. We got American Airlines. We got Huntington Bank. We have Tractor Supply. Really that's about it. Yeah, pretty that's about it. After the close, we got Intel. That's another one I like looking at. Is Intel. We got Intel after the close on Thursday. We have Deckers. I never really checked out Deckers. Really, that's about it. And then going into Friday, we got Verizon, Charter, American Express, CNI. I think that's it. So all in all, for this week, it's a solid earnings week. You got a little mixture of things at the beginning of the week, middle of the week, and the end. So it's a decent solid earnings week. Okay. Probably my biggest ones I'll be checking out for is probably Tesla, Google. Well, I don't know. I don't trade Google as much, but Tesla, I say IBM, ServiceNow, Intel, maybe that MSCI. I feel like the MSCI might be a sleeper because I haven't. I'm saying sleeper because I never checked their chart out. AMC and Domino's, I would say them, but it's just the fact that they on Monday and I usually don't trade on Monday. Stocks and options on Mondays. But all in all, like I said, pretty solid earnings week. Not all crazy hitters, but it's some decent movement should be able to happen this week. All right. Now we finally get to get into the charts. Finally get to get in the charts. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all, I did not update my charts since Thursday, Friday. So we do gotta update these charts in the middle of this stream. It's not gonna take long though. Should be pretty quick. All right, first thing first, let's get into this stock market. We got SPY. Let me remove this. Remove some of this stuff. Clean it up a little bit. Clean it up just a tad bit. We can keep that. We can keep that. That's that weekly high. I'm gonna remove that. And I think that's it. I think that's all we need to remove. All right. First thing first, let's check out the weekly on SPY. Weekly on SPY. Last week, we ended up closing bearish. We closed with as a red candle for last week. We looking at this weekly overall though. We had higher high, right? Then we made a low. Then we made another high. We was looking for this next high to come to make this uptrend complete on this weekly chart. But unfortunately, last week we ended up closing red, which tells us, hey, market is looking for a low. It doesn't mean that we're going to go down to a downtrend as of yet. We have to come take this June 22nd week, which is the low 716.58. We have to come take that low first in order to make a true downtrend. Okay. So we technically still can be getting ready, preparing to go higher to make an uptrend, but we gotta first either break the uptrend, like we said, come take the 716.58, or we gotta create the actual uptrend by taking as high as 760.40. Okay, so those are two key levels, 760.40 and 716.58. The two key levels that we're watching on that weekly chart, because they both go either direction, gonna tell us either an uptrend or a downtrend is getting formed. Okay, so I can put yellow lines there. Give me 1 second, because I like to use yellow lines for my weeklies. Yellow line there, just so we'll know uptrend or downtrend getting formed. I'm gonna just type uptrend. I'll just put W, then downtrend, W. All right, can hide the drawings again. So right now on the weekly, pretty much we kind of can be potentially in some consolidation. We got a high and we got a low. We don't got no trend set yet. We made another high, another low, which is inside of the previous high and low. So we could be consolidating and then try to make a decision. The big week gonna be once we actually make that decision. We either break to the upside and break 760, or if we can break this 716 at the lows. Okay, so that's really what we kind of being patient with. So honestly, this week, unless we just have drastic movements and break them levels, I'm kind of expecting us to potentially consolidate overall for the weekly, like just stay within inside these two ranges. All right. But like we said, last week was red. It's telling us to look for a low. So technically, we should be looking for a market to at least sweep this previous low, at least break previous week's low, which was 740.80. Okay. Going to the daily. See if the daily can clear it up a little bit more. Going to that daily, we had an uptrend forming. We had high, low, higher high, and then we end up breaking that uptrend right here on Friday. Friday we broke the uptrend. We end up gapping down. And breaking that previous low. Well, actually, we broke it on Thursday. Look like, let me see. It's 748 was this low. Yeah, we broke it on Thursday. So we broke the uptrend on Thursday. Yeah, we pretty much, like I said, kind of set up like how the weekly is set up. We could potentially consolidate. We don't have a trend as of right now. We got a higher high with a lower low. So it's no true trend as of right now on that daily. Only thing we can do is just follow whatever previous daily counter was and try to take it to previous highs or previous lows. For me, for SPY, I'm kind of neutral as of right now. I'm more so will want to see this daily either make an uptrend or make a downtrend. So based off the daily chart, I'm not basing no trades off my daily chart as of right now. Okay. I'll have to go to like a lower time frame, possibly the hourly, and just scalp until we start getting some more direction with the daily. Okay. Now I'm gonna bring the drawings back for the daily so we can see what it's looking like. Give us 1 second, it's trying to load. All right. So looking at this daily, we do have daily gaps sitting here. It look like we came into this daily gap at 743.08, but we closed above it. We did not close below it. We did open up inside of it, but we ended up closing above it. Possibly can be looking for an uptrend off of this daily gap at 743.08. So maybe on the hourly, we see an uptrend start forming. Maybe we'll start looking to take longs off that hourly and see if we can come back and take this previous high of Friday's candle which was 747.29. Okay. So we possibly get to look to take longs, like I said, above that 743. What it was, 743.08. But we gotta see uptrend start forming, preferably on that hourly. Let me look at the hourly. Preferably on that hourly, see uptrend form above here, and we possibly try to take it back to them highs. Other than that, if we looking for shorts, 1 second. All right, we look for shorts. Honestly, I'm not too interested in shorts just because the daily candle was green. If the daily candle was red and we closed inside this gap, of course I've been looking for it to go to the bottom of the gap, which is at that 739.51 level. But since we closed green back above it, kinda either neutral to trying to take it back up to the previous candle high. Okay. But like I said, daily, we can't really judge nothing off this daily. It's no trend set. Um, it's just that's the biggest thing. We don't see no trend. We don't want to take the trade. So honestly, I'm probably gonna just only wait till the hourly make some type of trend, and then if it's making it above that 743, then I'm gonna try to take it up to this 746 area. And if it's making a downtrend, only way I would look for shorts is if we either take that high of the previous Friday candle, or if we make a downtrend underneath that 743.08 level, and then I can look for shorts back to Friday's low, possibly to the bottom of the gap. Okay, that's pretty much it. Really ain't too much we can say for SPY as of right now, because the weekly is neutral and the daily is neutral. So just only scalp on the lower time frame. That's pretty much all we can look forward to. All right, jumping over to QQQ. Probably gonna look very similar to SPY with our decisions, but we're gonna check it out. We're gonna check it out. All right, going to the weekly on QQQ. QQQ also as well closed red for that weekly, but I can say this: it is different than SPY. SPY, we didn't have no trend. We just got higher high, low, high, low. No trend right now in SPY. QQQ on the other hand, we actually got a trend on that weekly. We got higher high, low, high, low, high, lower low. Made a downtrend right here. Last week made us a downtrend on QQQ. So we got a downtrend on the weekly on QQQ. So we got a little bit more direction on QQQ than SPY. For QQQ, potentially we'll be trying to come take this blowout over here at 686.37. What did we get to? We got to 686.76 last week. So yeah, we still got this low down here to potentially try to take on that weekly. That could be a target for us on the weekly. Or we very well can just sweep this low here at 686.76. Maybe just sweep that low, then push right back up. But as of right now, we're in a downtrend. I'm looking for us to continue down, okay? At least to come sweep this previous week candle based off this weekly. Like we said, QQ got more direction than SPY. It got a little bit more direction. It still very well can consolidate on us. Like once it comes sweep that low, because we do got a weekly gap sitting right here. It can just be bouncing at this weekly gap like it did the previous weeks. But it's a little bit more direction. We actually got low, high, lower, low on that weekly for QQQ. Going to the daily for QQQ. Looking at this daily, we got the daily on the other hand looks a little bit more neutral than the weekly do. The weekly got that full-fledged downtrend. Daily, we look at the daily, we got low, high, lower, low. That's good. But then we came right back and end up making, I believe it's a higher high. Let me make sure. 726.08, 720. Yeah. So we made low, high, lower, low, downtrend. But then we came back, made a higher high. Then we came right back, made a lower low. So it's more neutral on this last portion of QQQ. Last portion of QQQ, we got a higher high with a lower low. But we did get a high for Friday. We got a green candle. We got some type of high. We don't know how high the high gonna go. It's gonna come push all the way back up here at 726.39, or will it just make a high enough just to make a lower high for us to continue that downtrend and come finally take that 686.37 level? That's the question. For me, like I said, that daily is a little bit more neutral than it was for the weekly. So we gotta kind of play it lightly and let the daily start developing more. If you want to take them shorts to follow that weekly downtrend, you want to wait until we get this red daily candle. So since we got a green Friday candle, you want to see, hey, let market try to play his way up to see how high the high goes. If Monday come and we just go straight down and sweep them lows, hey, it is what it is. That's just a trade we couldn't take. It's just a trade we couldn't take. But for me, we gotta be patient with QQQ just because that daily is pretty much neutral. We are looking for them bears to sweep previous low, but it's neutral. It's neutral right now. For me, I'm kind of gonna treat QQQ the same as I'm gonna treat SPY, since SPY don't have no clear direction on the daily, and QQQ don't clearly got the direction on the daily. We're gonna have to scalp it, have to trade on that hourly, see where that trend is landing, and trade with the trend. Okay, trade with the trend. Now we put the drawings back on, looking at these daily gaps. QQQ did not come down here to this daily gap at 686.48. It did come down. It got very close, but it did not tap into it. But we also got to look at, hey, we never closed below this daily gap at 701. Closed red below that 701.24. Red candle closed below 701.24. I'll be expecting what? A break, retest, then drop. Okay. But we never closed red underneath. So yes, we did close underneath it, but it never was a red candle to say, hey, trying to go down. So my biggest thing that I'll be looking for is, if we do come back up here to the 701.24, do we have a green candle to keep pushing through? So do we just go all green candles and close back inside the gap? Or do, when we get up here, then on the hourly, it's actually doing that break and retest to go down to that 686. So we very well can see that on that lower time frame instead of it revealing itself on that daily. Give me 1 second. It says OBS reconnecting. Okay, there you go. Think we good. Like here, like I just said right here. You see how we spiked up to that daily gap and now it formed a downtrend? This downtrend very well can just hold and go all the way. Like, we could just see a downtrend on its hourly forming underneath that 701 and go straight down to that 686 gap down there. So you gotta be, like I said, you gotta kind of be careful. You can't really judge it off these daily these daily charts, because it may not reveal itself till it's too late on these daily charts, since it's neutral. You might have to just scalp on that hourly. I think that's the plan. Scalp on that hourly, follow whichever trend that it's making. Like we said, as long as we are below that 701, if we got a downtrend, I'm looking to try to take it back down to that 686.48. If we come tap 686.48 and make an uptrend off of it, hey, I'm looking for longs back up to that 700 low. Okay, so it's pretty much same understanding and decision as we got for SPY. We kind of got to be neutral based off these dailies to make some actual trends, and we just got to scalp on the hourly or lower. All right, no clear directions for them two. Now going over to MNQ, I might well just remove all these drawings right here, and we could just re-put drawings on it. Going over to MNQ, let's go to that weekly real quick. So as of right now, SPY and QQ, if you someone that's, if we were looking to get some trades that we want to hold for more than one day, like option wise, they're not necessarily when we're ready to get in. It's not where we're ready to get in at. We want to see some direction getting created. Okay. Scalpers, anybody that's trying to scalp, you should be pretty much fine. But holding it as of right now, this is not where I want to get in at, just because I don't want to waste my option contract, waste a whole day on a day that on a couple days that the market trying to develop itself. I wanted to already start developing for me to jump in, because with options, what's the biggest thing? It's your time. That decay is what's will mess up your profits. You know, you might be right with the direction where it's gonna go, but if that market not ready to do its expansions and stuff, and you got in to a day or two too early, you killing your contract value. So you kind of want to let that trend get ready to start developing, or actually already be developed. We want that trend to already be developing. We just be able to jump in. Hey, we jump in. That very next day it's shooting up to the highs or it's shooting to them lows. We don't really want to jump in when it's looking like it's neutral to potentially start consolidating. All right. So like I said, with SPY and QQQ, best for the scalping as of right now. All right, going to M and Q though. M and Q pretty much look like QQQ. We got a downtrend going on this most recent area. We got low, high, lower, low. Next target potentially for M and Q on that weekly is this low, sitting at 28,227.25. Oh, excuse me. We did close red for the previous week, so we potentially might be trying to come take this previous week low. So we looking for that 28,408.25 to come out. I mean, to get taken. All right. Honestly, like QQQ is in a downtrend for the weekly, so it really ain't too much to say other than that. Follow the trend, follow the trend. Going to that daily though. Let's see if the daily's still in the downtrend or did they get neutral. Looking at the daily, we had low, high, lower, low. It did make that higher high there. And make sure it was a higher high. I don't want to say it is. 904, 94. Oh no, we didn't make a higher high, so we good, we good. So we got low, high, lower, low, lower, high. Did not make a lower low until Friday. Friday made that lower low. So we still in the downtrend. That's good. Okay. So that's where it differs for M and Q versus QQQ. QQQ, the weekly was in a downtrend, but then when we dropped down to the daily, it was in the neutral state. It made a higher high with a lower low. M and Q on the other hand, it's a downtrend on the weekly, it's a downtrend on the daily. So still downtrend, we still can follow them shorts for M and Q based off that daily. Now, looking at M and Q. Friday we closed red. We closed below previous low. Signs of continuation. Honestly, we just got the target of previous day's low. We got target of previous day low. I do see this daily gap sitting over here, but we already closed below it. Maybe it's trying to do a retest of it. Let me see if I can put my drawings on. Put these drawings back on. Oh no, I removed the drawings. I'm tripping. I was like, what the drawings at? I forgot I removed the drawings. Let me draw this gap that I see. See this gap sitting right here. We closed below it for potential continuation. It look like we're trying to do the retest of it. If we see we had closed below, if we do this retest here, we see a downtrend forming right here, possibly on like the hourly. You can look for those shorts to go back down to this low at that 28,408 level. Okay, so basically just a breaking retest that we're looking for, pretty much on that M and Q. I do see a daily. Let me mark out these daily gaps real quick, y'all. Daily gap there. I see one here, but I really hate marking them overlapping each other. I usually just try to not stay away from it. I think that's about it. I see one down here. And then I think that's all we're going to mark as of right now. Make sure that's the gap because it's super close. This high is 28,247. This low is 28,245. So it's barely there. All right. So like I was saying, we closed below. Now that do change our thought a little bit because we did already tap into another gap. Okay. We tapped in another gap and failed to close inside of it for that continuation to the bottom of the gap. So I'm still overall gonna stay with the Bears, right? We still overall staying with the Bears, but by us not closing in that gap, it shows us that rejection that hey, it has to come back up to the previous gap that was above it. It came up to that 28,945. Like we said, if we go down to that hourly and we start seeing a downtrend form off of this, then we want to take some shorts back down. First down to this daily gap at 28,553. And then secondly down to them lows at 28,408. And if you're on Top Step or anything, the numbers might be a little bit different. One, because it's Top Step, they got entries and their start time a little bit different. And then two, on my trading view, I'm not connected with my Ninja Trader, so this is not the real time day. These is like 15 minutes later. Okay, I'm not connected to my Ninja Trader right now, but all in all, like we said, that hourly, we see that downtrend forming in that daily gap. We're gonna look to take it back down to that 28,550 level. So as of right now, the only thing it needs to do is break these lows right here. And then it'll be a downtrend. We could take it to that gap, possibly back down to them lows at that 28,408. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much the goal for M&Q. It's bearish. We just looking for some short opportunities. That's it. All right, jumping over to NYM. Let's see what NYM looking like. I don't think I gotta delete too much on NYM. Let's delete this. Delete this. Delete. It did take this low. We're gonna delete it. Take that low. All right. I think that's all we need to delete. Now let's jump over to the weekly for NYM and see what it's looking like. NYM weekly. Last week we end up closing bearish. We talked about this on Sunday. Basically last Sunday. We said, hey, we closed red. What was our target for last Sunday? We said our target is to come sweep previous week low. So we had that week that we came in. It was a red week. We said, hey, for last week we were looking to come sweep this low. It did just that. It came and swept the low. It did its job. Now it failed to close below that low for a continuation to possibly take us down to this daily gap. This weekly gap here. So it did fail to close below it. So we could see potential bounce back higher, like making another make the green weekly. But if we look at this previous week, what happened here? We expected the exact same thing possibly that we seen that last week did. Come sweep previous week low. Now once it sweeps previous week low, like we said, it can push up and end up being a green candle. Or if it closed below previous week low, hey, we're looking for that continuation down to this weekly gap sitting here. Okay. But as of right now, we did not get a closure below previous week's lows last week. So we could just sweep the low, or we could just push straight up. We could sweep the low and push up, or we could just push straight up without having to even attempt to take previous week lows. But our goal is to take previous week lows since it closed red. Okay. All in all, it's in the uptrend for NYM. Got high, low, higher, high, low, higher, high. Just need literally in the bulls. All they need is one green candle, one green weekly candle, and we looking to take it back to the high. Don't really need nothing special. We see a green candle on NYM. We looking to take it back to the highs. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Dropping down to that daily. NYM daily. Look like we got low, high. Let's see what this high is. 53,114. Made a lower low. Let's see, did we break that high? We said it was 113. No, 114. All right, yeah, we did not break that high. So we good. So we got low, high, lower low, lower high.